Hi, this is JJ and welcome back to another episode of the Warehouse Whiteboard. Today we are going to start with a tiny bit of story time with JJ. And we're going to go way back in the day to when JJ first learned how to play the guitar. Now, when I first got my very first guitar, I was super excited. It was in college and I wanted to be like all the rest of the cool kids that played guitar. And I always liked music, so I thought I'd jump into that. But when I first started trying to play this instrument, I felt like an arthritic tyrannosaur. I could not bend my fingers in the ways that I needed to get them onto the neck of the instrument and make it make sounds that didn't sound like something dying. It was a struggle for me, and I had to teach my muscles and teach my fingers how to behave properly in order to be able to play the guitar with any kind of skill. What it took was long-term or a time investment and a continued investment of effort. And as time went on and effort was continually applied, I got a little bit better with the guitar and started to discover more of what the instrument could do, more of what I could do with it, and it became kind of a lifelong relationship with that instrument, and it's something I hold truly dear even today. Now, the reason we're talking about this is that this idea is easily applied to our concept that we're going to be driving home this month, and that's the concept of spiritual disciplines. And I don't want you to think it's just about getting really, really good at something, but it's about getting deeper, getting a fuller experience with the practices that we can put into our life that draws closer to Christ. And that's what spiritual disciplines are. There's a lot of different practices that you could use to apply to that term. Now, what we started with last night was the concept of prayer. How does prayer relate to this? Well, prayer is something that time and effort help you get deeper and deeper into prayer. And one of the other things that we wanted to highlight with our students is that prayer is not necessarily about fancy words. So often we think we've got to say the right thing, sound the right way, or pray like one of the pastors or somebody else prays. But you read here in Matthew chapter 6, Jesus talks specifically about not heaping up empty phrases like the Gentiles do. That's in the Sermon on the Mount, right before he gives us the instructions on the Lord's Prayer. So when it comes to prayer, those specific words aren't as important as time and effort of getting deeper and deeper into it. So last night we played a game. We played Taboo. And if you've never played Taboo, it's a great word game where you try to get people to guess one word, but you can't say that word and you can't say another bunch of words either to have them guess what that word is. So you have to find another way to get somebody to say Phoenix. And people come up with really creative ways to accomplish that. So in the concept of the game of Taboo, specific words are really, really important. It's a deal breaker. But when you talk about prayer, specific words are less important. And especially fancy words that aren't sincere words. But prayer is more about time and effort. And so our challenge to the students last night was to up your prayer game just a little bit. Again, not to become some skillful, aficionado in all things, but just to get deeper and more intentional in prayer. So we're going to maybe pray a little bit more as we drive to school, as we walk to class, as we move from place to place, as people are brought into our minds. We're going to be intentional about praying for them. And so that's our first step on this month-long discovery of spiritual disciplines, and we will continue to dive deeper into all of those, and you can come back next time to see where we go from here. Thanks. This has been JJ with the Warehouse Whiteboard. We'll see you next time.